Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, traders. This is a daily stock market review. I'm doing this review for Jeff on my database. He's on my database, and also he registered for free, so therefore I'm helping him out for free. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through a stock that was recommended by Jeff on my database. Now, if you're a trader out there that is struggling with this volatility in the market, if you're a trader out there that needs some help, just a little bit of help on how to look at these charts properly and how to identify good trading opportunities, make sure you come to tradinginvestingforyou.com. Make sure you check us out, and if you are, come and check us out. Sign up for free and let me know, and I'll do exactly what I'm doing right now for you if you want me to look at some bunch of stocks for you. So please let me know and I'll be gladly to help you out absolutely free. Okay, so Jeff, this one's for you. We're looking at CMR. Now CMR is a low to mid cap stock on the Australian stock market. Now what we're looking at here is we can see over the last, say, 6 months or so, we've had a nice downtrend. Okay, nice downtrend. So it's heavily on the downside. But the important thing is, when we're looking at the chart, is we need to look at the forest and then guide our way through the trees. One of the most important things I've learned while trading these markets is we need to have a good look at the forest, which is generally the weekly chart, and we need to bob and weave through the trees. Basically, we know where the path is likely to go by looking at the weekly chart. Then we can look at the daily chart to identify where the market is likely to go from here. So let's go to a weekly chart from here. Okay, so this is a weekly chart, and what we can see is every single candlestick on this chart is a weekly bar, and we have two trading room proprietary moving averages. That's what we have on the chart so far, and you can see these moving averages work very, very well. You can see when it's above it, works really, really well. When it starts breaking below it, finds resistance and keeps below it. So we can see that these moving averages are an outstanding moving average to gauge of where the overall trend is and where the definite trend is changing. And straight away you can see if it starts to break above this moving average on the weekly chart, you know that the trend is now starting to change. But right now we can see that the sellers have been in control for quite some time. So the first thing I want to look at is okay, where are some major trend lines? Some major trend lines, support and resistance. So if I just go from the top here, and I just draw my trend line down here. I just draw my trend line down through there, and that's what I'd have down through there. Okay, so that's what I'd have. And if I just draw another trend line up here, you've probably seen I'm just drawing a bit of a trend line down through here now, and you can see that I'm drawing what we call a bit of a channel. You can see it's actually channeling between these two trend lines I just drew. Now if I grab the exact same trend line and I bring it up a little bit, okay, just bring it up nice, just slightly, and I'm bringing it up, I'm just trying to get as many touches as possible to find this trend line as valid as possible. So what I'm doing right now, I'm drawing the trend line, I'm trying to identify, I'm just trying to draw it up to the best ability as I can to see where it's finding support and resistance. And you can see right here, it's had a bounce here, broke through, came up, found resistance here, came back up. So what we can see right now, we had all resistance through here, support here, had resistance here, and also resistance over here. So what we can see right now is that the sellers are definitely in control, but now we have some parameters. We have some major trend lines to be working off, don't we? So that's on the weekly chart. So let's go have a look at the daily chart. Let's see what the daily chart looks like now. Because now we understand that the weekly is massively in a downward trend, and now we have some major trend lines on the downside to work with. If I just open up my chart before I go to the daily chart, and you can see that down the bottom here, right down the bottom here is a major support line. Okay, so if it gets up here around the $1.50 mark, you could expect a bit of resistance around there. Because support, once support is broken, is likely to become resistance. So we have some major trend lines and major parameters to work with now, don't we? So let's go to our daily chart and let's have a look at our daily chart. So we're looking at our daily chart right now, and you can see that our major trend line coming down through here, these are the trend lines we just drew on the weekly chart. We're just now looking at a daily chart now. That's why there's a lot more candles on the chart. We can see that our nice trend line coming down through here did find, if you just open up this chart here, did find a bit of support here. Broke down, bounced back up, but ultimately sellers took control and then brought it straight back down. So right now we can see that the overall sellers are in control, massively in control, And if I just delete this trend line now, because we don't need this trend line here for the current moment, and we really don't need this trend line here either. Okay, so what we're identifying, we're saying, okay, what's really going on with this stock as we speak? And the important thing is, once again, we go to a weekly chart to identify what's going on, and then we go to a daily chart to find out if we can find any tracks amongst those amongst the trees. So we can see we have a nice support line, which if I just squeeze my daily chart up, remember this is the support line we had in the weekly chart, and we have a nice trend come to the downside. So the first thing I want to do is I'd probably just get my parallel trend line tool, and I'll go to the top, and I'll just draw this down through here. Okay, just draw it down, probably going on through there. And if I just do that, and if I just draw a trend line coming up, and what I want to do is I just want to identify as many peaks, as many touches as possible, and I'd say there's something going on through there as well. And as we can see, if we have a look at this, we have a nice resistance, almost support here, which is a support over here as well. Market supported here, it broke through, but ultimately had a nice support around there and bounced back up. So you can see that trend line is nicely valid to the market. But if I just delete those trend lines now, because we don't really need to look at that, and we have a nice trend line coming down through here. Okay, nice trend line, and we can see once again our moving averages are definitely keeping in check. If we just squeeze our chart open a bit, you can see when it's below it, it gives us a nice downward trend. When it's above our proprietary moving average, it gives us a nice upward trend for the short term. But when it starts breaking below it, look at the nice downward trend. Okay, so we now identify that the trend is to the downside. So if we're looking at this, we're saying, okay, the market is going to the downside, but if we have a look much closer to what's actually happening right now, we can see that there's a bit of short-term support here. So I'm just going to get my horizontal trend line, and I'm just going to bring up a bit of support here. Okay, can we all see that? Just open up my chart a bit more. We all can see that there's a bit of support through there now. Now what we're looking at is we're identifying, again, the support and resistance lines. And one thing we can see is if we just draw a trend line down through here, we can see there's a bit of a triangle pattern formation there. Okay? What we call a descending triangle. And this descending triangle has broken to the downside, but it is finding a bit of support through, isn't it? Now I wonder why that is. Let's go back to a weekly chart for a minute here, and let's squeeze our chart up. Let's see if we can find any major support and resistance. And there we go. We have a major support over here, which happened in the middle of 05, and look where it's finding a bit of support right now. Okay, major support and resistance. Let me just draw that trend line again so we can get the bottoms of that, just the bottoms of that right there. So that's where we're going. Bit of support here, and let's go to our daily chart now. And there we are. We can see that's finding a very, very nice support through there. We have a very short-term support, as we drew just then, a very short-term support through here as well. So that's saying to me that it wants to continue to the downside. But I do say, if we can start breaking above this faster moving average, and we start to get all our indicators going our way, and all the volume going our way, and the pattern formation our way, like we teach in the trading room, I do say that we have a very good chance of it running back up to around about the $1.50 mark, just below where our support line is through here. Because the reason why is because we're now breaking out of a trend line, and if we have a look here, we have a look on our chart, and see this little peak here, market ran up, make a peak. If I just draw a trend line through there, you can see that's where the next resistance is. Okay, when the market ran up, hit resistance, break down. If we can start breaking above there, which is going to be breaking above our trend line, and also breaking above our proprietary moving average that we use in the trading room every day, then I do say we can have a nice pop to the upside and get at least to there. That might be a nice little trade for you. So, but as the longer term trend, if you're looking for a short term trade, that'll be a nice little short term trade for you. But the longer term view, once again, is massive to the downside, and the longer term view is not going to change unless we get above our proprietary moving average. I hope you enjoyed this, Jeff, and traders. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Want more information? Come and check us out. I'll be gladly to help you out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Trade in the stock market is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee your profit from the information provided. The information in these videos is meant for educational purposes only. That being said, I've been trading the market profitably for many, many years. So please, do your own homework and make sure you look after your current financial situation.